Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB podcast, and today is the 27th of July 2026. And so far as the price of Bitcoin and the global cryptocurrency market is concerned, guys, it has marginally gone down in comparison to last week. And if you look at the fear and greed index, right now it is still at fear. And according to me, Satoshi, the reason is pretty simple. There was a bit of chaos going on between the United States of America and Iran. And because of that, I do feel that the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies has been impacted. Now, there is a bit of update regarding Iran conflict, Satoshi, and multiple outlets are reporting that Trump administration, they have now ordered the US military to stand down on new Iran strikes. Now, could it be possible because of that, we might be seeing a positive impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? What is your thought regarding it, Satoshi? Because look, if ships are flowing through Straits of Hormuz, the oil prices will go down, which would mean inflation will go down, and that will directly and indirectly impact the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, right?
That's a very interesting point, George. The geopolitical factors have definitely been at play. If the tensions subside and those trade routes are secure, we might see stability that benefits cryptocurrencies. It could lead to more confidence and less volatility. I agree that the immediate impact was driven by fear, but looking forward, a resolution could be positive.
Now, what I'd really recommend our listeners to do is definitely go and look at official information regarding the Iran-US conflict. Now, what has been happening, Satoshi, since the prices of Bitcoin has fallen down almost 50% since 2025? A lot of the Bitcoin miners, they have now pivoted to artificial intelligence. So what I thought in today's episode, we will go ahead and tackle some of the Bitcoin mining companies that has pivoted to artificial intelligence, because at the end of the day, they're just focusing on profit, isn't it? So we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on this news. And along with that, guys, on the 29th of this month, that is just 2 days from now, there is FOMC announcement that is scheduled to take place. And at the FOMC announcement, the new federal chair, that is Kevin Walsh, will be making a decision whether to keep the interest rate, reduce it or increase it. So I'd really urge our listeners to keep a track on what is going on regarding the FOMC announcement. Now we have 4 macro level news to cover, Satoshi, in today's Blockchain DXB podcast. The first news is connected to the Department of State, and the news, Satoshi, is that the US Department of State, they have launched something called as FTE, that is Freedom Tech Excellence Program. And in today's episode, we'll go ahead and give our listeners more information regarding this, because a lot of private companies have been involved in this. And along with that, Bitcoin Policy Institute, that is focusing on educated members of the Congress as well as Senate members on Bitcoin, they are partnered with them as well. So we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this. Now, the second macro level news, Satoshi, we're going to be touching bases regarding Ripple. And Ripple has launched Ripple Mint, and looks like now they're making some really strong moves. But so far as the price of Ripple XRP as well as the market cap is concerned, Satoshi, things have definitely not improved in 2026. But we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on those news. Now, the third news, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is regarding Samsung. And last week, guys, they did have an unpacking event, and this news is connected to Samsung Wallet. And here's the thing, guys, they will be adding stablecoin support. Really interesting update by Samsung in my honest opinion. So we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into what this news is all about. And the final news, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is regarding Telegram. And they want to go ahead and launch one of the biggest non-custodial crypto wallet. Now look, Satoshi, according to me, a lot of people are using Telegram, isn't it? Some are right and saying at a macro level, things are definitely improving and things are definitely getting better for the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency world, isn't it?
Yes, that's true. Despite the price drop, seeing miners adapt with AI reveals a long-term focus on profitability. And the FOMC announcement is definitely one to watch, as interest rate decisions can sway markets. All of these macro updates, like the State Department's initiative and the stablecoin support,
it definitely does, Satoshi, and I've been saying this since a very long time. At a macro level, things are definitely shaping up better than ever before. So it looks like we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. And like we do in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we will be looking at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, what are the 2 news you're going to be discussing? The second news, according to me, is a really interesting news, because this is connected to Doge, and this is to do with Department of Government Enablement, and this is connected to United Arab Emirates, the Emirate of Abu Dhabi to be precise, isn't it?
That's correct, George. We have 2 main headlines to discuss today. First, Saudi Arabia is embedding AI literacy into their national strategy to fuel their economic growth. And second, the Department of Government Enablement in Abu Dhabi has launched an AI-powered policy program. It shows a strong momentum towards digital change in the region.
It definitely does, Satoshi. So it looks like we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. But before we go ahead and do that, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana. And they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look guys, whether you're looking into investing in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or many giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners guys, if you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, cause they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part guys, once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code Blockchain DXB. And Amana guys is all markets one app. Next guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Cause for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right guys, palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrency is all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas, and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock guys is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners guys, we have something really interesting for you, cause you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025, as well as ETH Women. And look guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life, so don't just read about it, be there and head to the website that is futuristconference.com and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media guys is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet, and prosperity. Now listen guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE, so definitely check it out. And also guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gulf Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below.
Now guys, since you're taking care of that, let's quickly run through the global cryptocurrency market. And in comparison to last week's Satoshi, the numbers are definitely not looking that great. The global cryptocurrency market is down to $2.29 trillion, and this does represent only a 0.1% increase since the last 24 hours. So looks like this weekend has definitely not been great for the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And what I'm really not liking Satoshi is the 24-hour volume. It is down to $37.3 billion, and one matrix Satoshi which is consistently going down. This is the volume of decentralized exchange, and the decentralized exchange volume since the last 24 hours is down to $4.16 billion, and the total fees connected for these transactions is only at $58.30 million. And here's the thing guys, if you look at the total value locked, it is almost half of what it was in 2025, $76.12 billion to be precise. And along with that Satoshi, now we do have a matrix that does give an assessment as to how many people are using decentralized exchange, and this is the decentralized to centralized exchange ratio dominance, and this percentage is only at 31.31%. Now one of the reasons why this number is worrisome is because out of this 31.31% Satoshi, there is a very high chance that a lot of centralized exchanges are using decentralized exchanges as well, and I wouldn't be surprised, maybe 20% of this particular matrix is accounted by centralized exchanges. Now, ever since crypto-related ETF matrix is out, Satoshi, in the Blockchain DXB podcast, we consistently look at ETF-related information, and I'm talking about crypto ETF inflows and outflows. And since the last trading day, which was on last Friday, we do have significant amount of outflows in the world of crypto ETFs, and this is accounting to $317.7 million. Now, rather than saying Satoshi, a significant amount of outflows does give a very strong assessment as to what the market sentiment is, and that is one of the reasons why we are seeing so much of outflows, which indirectly impacts the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it?
So, George, these ETF outflows are like big investors putting their cards on the table, showing what they're really doing. When they pull out, it forces them to sell assets, which directly pushes prices down. Plus, it signals to everyone else that large players are getting nervous, so it can cause panic to spread faster. The overall market drop and the slight increase in volume, along with the low volume, definitely paints a subdued picture right now. The consistent decline in decentralized exchange volume is another trend to keep an eye on. And the drop in total value locked clearly shows a slowdown compared to last year. The high percentage of centralized exchange dominance suggests they're still the main players. And those ongoing outflows from crypto ETFs point to that persistent caution. That makes things more volatile and harder to trade.
Definitely does, Satoshi, and according to me, does give us a very strong assessment as to which direction the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is heading towards. Now, what I want you to do is, I want you to read out some matrix that is connected to decentralized exchanges. So why don't you tell our listeners the top 5 platforms in the world of decentralized exchange? And right now we do have Native, I believe, which is at number 2, isn't it?
So, George, let me go ahead and read out the volume of decentralized exchanges. Based on this, Uniswap is at 1.1 billion, Native is at 972.4 million, Pump is at 478.22 million, PancakeSwap at 312.74 million, and Aerodrome is at 217.78 million.
Now here's the thing, Satoshi, the volume of stablecoins is kind of like the engine of the cryptocurrency world. And unfortunately, guys, the volume of stablecoins isn't looking that great. And so far as the volume of Tether USDT is concerned, since the last 24 hours, it is only at $33.08 billion. These numbers are absolutely dreadful in my honest opinion. And if you look at the volume of Circle USDC, guys, it is below the $5 billion mark. It is only at $4.75 billion. FDUSD is at number 3rd with $310.57 million. Now what I want you to do next, Satoshi, is I want you to read out the market cap, tell our listeners what is going on since the last 24 hours on Bitcoin, and also the dominance. And I want you to do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
Okay, George. Looking at the Bitcoin numbers, its market cap is $1.29 trillion, with about $12.63 billion in trading volume over the last day. That puts its market dominance at 56.90%. For Ethereum, the market cap is roughly $230.55 billion, with a volume of about $4.93 billion and dominance of 9.91%. And finally, Binance BNB has a market cap of $76.21 billion, with about $780.52 million in volume.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now, look, in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we tend to look at one new matrix. Today, we are going to be looking at real-world asset coins. But before that, Satoshi, why don't you tell our listeners what is a real-world asset coin, the benefits of it, as well as some of the negative aspects of it?
Certainly, George. Real-world asset coins are basically digital tokens that represent ownership of physical assets, things like real estate, art, or commodities. The key benefit is that it makes these assets more accessible and easier to trade by breaking them down into smaller pieces. However, on the negative side, you're dealing with the complexities of legal regulations and ensuring the digital token truly matches the physical asset, which can add complications.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi. Legal regulations is definitely one of the biggest hurdles in the world of tokenization. And am I right in saying, Satoshi, even NFTs do actually fall under tokenization?
NFTs are a great example of tokenizing ownership, but typically for unique items like digital art, rather than fractional ownership of a larger asset. The legal challenges apply across the board.
Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners the top real-world asset coins and also read out the matrix of the top 5 platforms, please?
Sure thing, George. Today, the market cap for top real-world asset coins is at $66.1 billion, which is a drop of about 34.6% over the last day. When it comes to specific platforms, Figure HELOC is leading at $21.18 billion, Chainlink is at $6.14 billion, Stellar at $6.12 billion, Circle USYC at $2.95 billion, and BlackRock BUIDL is at $2.63 billion.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now, what I want you to do is, I want you to tell our listeners the king of all kings, that is the price of Bitcoin, what is going on since the last 24 hours and 7 days, and do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
Certainly, George. Bitcoin, the king of all coins, is currently priced at $64,628, showing a slight increase of 0.50% in the last day and 0.33% over the last week. Ethereum is sitting at $1,910 with a 2.03% increase in 24 hours and 2.64% for the week. And finally, Binance BNB is at $572, showing gains of 0.72% in the last day and 0.82% over the last week.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys, if you look at the fear and greed index, right now it is at fear and the number associated is 37. Now look, Satoshi, one of the reasons why the market has actually moved to fear is because there's conflict going on between Iran and US, but a lot of media outlets are actually informing that President Donald Trump has actually paused strikes on Iran. And according to me, Satoshi, because there's a bit of uncertainty involved, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are impacted, but it's going to be really interesting to see if we do get any official update regarding the Iran and US conflict, and news such as this, guys, directly and indirectly impacts the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, am I right in saying, Satoshi, apart from that, another event that is scheduled to take place on the 29th of this month is also another factor why the prices of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies are volatile? And this is connected to the FOMC announcement, which by the way is scheduled to take place on the 29th of July. And at the FOMC announcement, Satoshi, the new Federal Reserve Board chair, that is Kevin Walsh, will be making a decision whether to keep the interest rate, reduce it or increase it, and that news will directly impacting the price of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, isn't it?
You're right, George. The market uncertainty from the Iran-US conflict and the potential change in strikes is definitely playing a major role, pushing the index to fear. And yes, the upcoming FOMC announcement on the 29th, with Kevin Warsh's interest rate decision, will certainly be watched closely for its impact on Bitcoin and crypto prices. We'll have to see how it unfolds.
Now, for our listeners, Satoshi, what advice you like to give them? What are the key metrics they should be looking at, keeping in mind the Iran and US conflict? Along with that, what are the other metrics they should be looking at as and when we get closer to the FOMC announcement date?
Well, George, for the Iran-US conflict, keeping an eye on the news for any official updates on military action or diplomatic talks is crucial, as that directly impacts investor sentiment. Regarding the FOMC announcement, closely monitoring expectations for interest rate changes and listening to analyst comments can provide some foresight.
You know, Satoshi, I completely disagree regarding analyst comments because the so-called analysts, they are extremely left-leaning and they're suffering from TDS or Trump derangement syndrome. And I hate saying this, Satoshi, mainstream media in the United States of America, they're definitely suffering from TDS or Trump derangement syndrome. But at the same time, it is also important to note, it is the narrative that is put out by them that does actually drive the price of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. And you'd be surprised, Satoshi, the official announcement is completely different to what mainstream media is actually talking about.
That's a really important point to consider, George. If there's a significant difference between the official information and the narrative presented by mainstream media, it can absolutely distort public perception and create more market volatility or confusion. Listeners should be mindful of that potential discrepancy and try to cross-reference information from multiple sources.
Now look, Satoshi, I 100% disagree to what you're saying, that listeners should cross-reference information from multiple sources, and this is exactly what I talked about. These so-called sources, they are intentionally putting out misleading and incorrect information, so I would actually say that not to look at multiple sources for information, rather only go ahead and look at official sources for information, so I 100% disagree to what you're saying, Satoshi.
I understand your viewpoint, George. Given the strong potential for misleading information, focusing solely on official sources for updates on the Iran-US conflict and the FOMC announcement is your primary recommendation for listeners to ensure they have the most accurate data. I appreciate you clarifying that.
But at the same time, Satoshi, it is also important to understand that it is the misleading information that does actually drive the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and pivot to next news. And this is connected to a trend that I'm noticing in the world of Bitcoin mining. And a lot of Bitcoin miners, Satoshi, are actually pivoting to artificial intelligence. And the reason for this is pretty simple, Satoshi. The price of Bitcoin is almost 50% of what it was in 2025, isn't it? And Bitcoin and crypto miners such as Bitdeer as well as Mara Holdings, they're actually liquidating Bitcoin to repurpose the energy and hardware for artificial intelligence data centers. But look, Satoshi, despite industry-wide chaos and executive exits, Michael Saylor is kind of spearheading the Bitcoin initiative, and he's maintaining his firm position as a top corporate holder for Bitcoin. So it looks like Michael Saylor is extremely bullish regarding Bitcoin, isn't it, Satoshi?
You're right, George. The drop in Bitcoin's price has definitely squeezed miners' profits, encouraging them to pursue alternatives like AI data centers. And Michael Saylor's stance is well known. His persistent bullishness and MicroStrategy's significant holdings continue to be a major influence in the space. He remains committed to that position.
Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss an important news about the US Department of State. And they've announced a new program called as FTE, that is Freedom Tech Excellence Program. And this is connected to private sectors because they partnered with the US Department of State. And this is to support digital freedom and freedom of expression worldwide. And here's the thing, guys, the program brings experts from technology companies and also organizations into Department of State for temporary assignments. And this is to work on issues such as artificial intelligence, online privacy, encryption, as well as digital security. And here's the thing, guys, participants remain employees of the organization while at the same time helping shape US diplomatic efforts in these areas. And the founding member Satoshi, as I talked about at the beginning of the episode, includes some of the high-tech companies such as Palantir Technologies and Dural Industries, the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation, and also the Bitcoin Policy Institute. Now look, Satoshi, according to me, this is definitely a genius initiative. What is your assessment regarding this initiative, Satoshi? Secondly, what role do you think actually they can play so far as freedom is concerned over the next 2 to 5 years?
Well, George, I think this is definitely a notable move. By bringing experts from the private sector temporarily, the State Department is gaining direct access to cutting-edge knowledge on critical issues like AI and encryption. In my view, this could lead to smarter, more informed policies that handle these complex technologies better. It might also foster stronger partnerships between the government and tech companies, speeding up innovation on security solutions. Looking ahead, this could become a model for how government agencies stay relevant with fast-moving tech, potentially improving diplomatic efforts in digital spaces. It could also directly influence how international standards are set, since the U.S. will have more expertise on hand. Lastly, I think it could definitely change how quickly the government can react to emerging cyber threats, making them more responsive overall.
I definitely do think, Satoshi, it is definitely a great initiative, and it is no surprise it is actually done under the Trump administration. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss some massive news regarding Ripple. And Ripple, guys, they have launched Ripple Mint, which is essentially a new platform that allows institutions to easily mint, redeem, manage, as well as integrate a stablecoin, that is RLUSD, into the existing system. And the platform, guys, supports both manual as well as automated workplace, thereby helping businesses improve efficiency while at the same time providing real-time transaction tracking. And Ripple, guys, has also expanded the stablecoin, that is RLUSD, to multiple blockchains, including XRP EVM sidechain, Base Network, Optimism, Inc., as well as Unichain, and they have done that to increase accessibility and liquidity. And Ripple, guys, regarding the partnership, is saying that the platform is designed to support the growing use of regulated stablecoins in payments, trading, as well as institutional finance. This news is definitely great, isn't it? And Ripple, guys, according to me, is definitely making some bold moves. But I'm not seeing the price of Ripple or RLUSD picking up pace. But you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, based on this announcement, how do average users actually benefit because of this?
Average users benefit because they get access to a more stable digital currency that's supported on more platforms, making it easier to use for payments and trading with faster, more reliable tracking. This expansion also means greater liquidity, which can make transactions smoother and more cost-effective.
Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss some interesting news regarding Samsung. And this is more connected to Samsung users. And Samsung, guys, they did have an announcement a few days ago. And this was at the Galaxy Impact event, where they announced quite a lot of new mobile phones, their new AR glasses, as well as a new Samsung watch. And they also announced that the Samsung Wallet, guys, will expand beyond cash as well as savings. And they will now embrace new forms of digital value, including stable coins. And this, guys, makes Samsung one of the first major mobile brands to bring native stable coins to smartphones, thereby enabling fast as well as trusted digital value transfers. This news, Satoshi, according to me, is really interesting. Now, do you envision Apple to make a similar move as well?
So, George, the news about Samsung expanding the wallet to embrace stablecoins is significant, as it directly integrates crypto into a mainstream payment solution for their users. This move could improve efficiency for businesses that accept them and provide real-time tracking. As for Apple, they've been famously cautious, so while they might monitor the trend, it's uncertain whether they would make a similar move.
Now let's go ahead and discuss the next news, Satoshi, and this is connected to Telegram. And the news causes that Telegram Messenger CEO, that is Pavel Durov, he did actually post something really interesting on X as well as Telegram. And he actually said that this summer, Telegram will be launching the largest rollout of a non-custodial crypto wallet in human history. And this integration, guys, will enable over 1 billion users to send and receive cryptocurrencies instantly. And they can do that with zero transaction fees, while at the same time maintaining full control over the assets. Now for our listeners, Satoshi, do you want to tell our listeners what a non-custodial crypto wallet is, what are the benefits for it, as well as some of the negatives of it as well?
So, George, let's explain what a non-custodial wallet is. Essentially, it means you hold the keys to your crypto, unlike a custodial wallet where a company does. With this type, you have full control and responsibility. It differs from a custodial wallet because no third party manages your funds. You're the only one who can access them. The positives are definitely more privacy and not relying on someone else's security, though the negative side is that if you lose your access keys, your funds are gone for good. With a custodial wallet, the company handles that, so it's easier if you forget your password, but you give up control. You also face the risk of the company being hacked or having issues. That's how they generally differ.
What happens, Satoshi, let's say if you do actually forget your private keys, or so-called password for average listeners to go ahead and understand it? What happens in that case? What happens to your cryptocurrencies?
If you lose your private keys, George, and you're using a non-custodial wallet, those cryptocurrencies are essentially lost. There's no central authority to contact for a recovery, so they remain on the blockchain but inaccessible to you. That's the primary risk with that setup.
So essentially, our listeners should know that let's say if you forget your password, all of your cryptocurrencies are completely gone forever, isn't it? But look, Satoshi, news such as this is definitely great, and it does actually align with Satoshi Nakamoto's vision of why Bitcoin was created as well, isn't it? So I definitely take it as a great win. So these were some macro level newscasts on the Bitcoin blockchain, cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence world. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go and look at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Do you want to tell our listeners what the first news is all about? And the news, Satoshi, is that Saudi Arabia is making AI literacy a key part of the national strategy, isn't it? Why don't you tell our listeners more information regarding this news, please?
Well, George, Saudi Arabia is definitely making waves with AI. Their goal is to boost economic growth and prepare their future workforce, directly linking AI skills to their Vision 2030 goals. They're one of the most AI-ready and regulated countries in the region, backed by the National Strategy for Data and AI, which supports large-scale education. They see AI literacy as essential for adoption, with businesses encouraged to train employees on things like privacy, cybersecurity, and governance before deployment. In 2025, they even introduced a national AI curriculum expected to benefit 6 million students, teaching responsible use of Gen AI. Plus, SDAIA's Samai initiative aims to train 1 million Saudis, with over 500,000 registered already, and public-private partnerships are expanding this further. The risk, of course, is that companies that ignore upskilling could face skills gaps and compliance challenges, while strong literacy can improve regulatory readiness and business competitiveness. So, businesses are encouraged to align their training with Saudization and workforce goals, keeping up with continuous learning as technology and regulations change. That's the gist of it, George.
And for our listeners, guys, you should know that SDI is Saudi Data for Artificial Intelligence Authority, and you're right in pointing out, Satoshi, that Saudi Arabia is actually one of GCC's most AI-ready and regulated countries, and I believe there was a report in late December of 2025 where it was actually revealed the Saudi Arabian government is also number one in adopting artificial intelligence. But here's the thing, Satoshi, so far as cryptocurrency and blockchain is concerned, they are still lagging way behind in comparison to United Arab Emirates, isn't it?
That's correct, George. While Saudi Arabia is making big strides with AI and leading in that regard in the Gulf, the UAE is currently further along in adopting cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. It's definitely an interesting comparison between the two regional leaders.
So let's say, Satoshi, if you were a cryptocurrency blockchain advisor to the Saudi government, let's say to the Saudi Data for Artificial Intelligence Authority, what advice you'd like to give them? And I'm talking about adopting cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology.
If I were advising them, George, I would recommend focusing on creating a clear, supportive regulatory framework first. Then explore pilot programs for specific use cases, maybe in trade finance or government services, and continue partnering with private companies for expertise and scaling. Education and workforce development would be crucial too, just like they're doing with AI, to build the necessary talent. That's the path I'd outline.
Well, interesting point, Satoshi. Definitely appreciate that. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go and look at the second news. And this is connected to Doge, but this causes Department of Government Enablement, and this is from the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. And the news causes that Abu Dhabi's Department of Government Enablement has launched an AI-powered policy development program, and the program is designed for executive directors and senior government leaders, and the Department of Government Enablement has partnered with Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy to deliver the program. And here's the thing, guys. It aims to strengthen AI-powered policy development across public sector, and the program focuses on improving policy design, implementation and oversight, and leaders will learn to create high-quality evidence-based policies. Now look, Satoshi, the initiative supports better government decision making and service delivery, and it aims to improve outcomes for citizens, residents as well as businesses, and participants will develop skills to identify policy challenges and practical solutions, and the program teaches effective stakeholder engagement and policy collaboration. And what's interesting to know, Satoshi is a key features an intensive learning module in Singapore, and participants will attend workshops, lectures, as well as real-world policy projects, and the training includes impact assessment, behavioral insights as well as policy communications, and leaders guys will also learn monitoring, evaluation and governance best practices. Now the program guys explore Singapore's smart nation strategy and government innovation, and look, application and government transformation are a core part of the curriculum as well. And look, as the initiative supports anticipatory governance by preparing leaders of future challenges, and the Department of Government Enablement does actually say that the program will strengthen continuous learning and build for a future-ready government. This news, Satoshi, according to me, is once again great from the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. What is your assessment regarding this particular initiative? I think it is absolutely brilliant, isn't it? And it is absolutely no surprise that this news is from the Emirate of Abu Dhabi.
I agree, George. Preparing for future challenges and promoting continuous learning in government leadership is definitely proactive, suggesting a commitment to modernization and better service delivery. It certainly looks like a strong step for Abu Dhabi's public sector.
Definitely, Satoshi, and thank you so much for your valuable insights. So these were the newscasts on the Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, alright?
Sure, George. Let's go and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series. I'm curious to check what questions listeners have in store for us.
Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB podcast. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And we have a question from John who asks, is institutional adoption now happening faster in stablecoins than in Bitcoin? This, to be honest, Satoshi, is such an interesting question. And according to me, John, I hate saying this, the answer to that is yes, because if we look at the volume of stablecoins, a lot of transactions are constantly taking place, isn't it? And what I would really urge you, John, as well as our listeners to do is, roughly around 3 years ago, along with a good friend of mine, that is Marcus Shantita, we did actually talk about a history in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And 3 years ago, I did actually tell him that a lot of institutional adoption will actually take place in the world of stablecoins, not necessarily Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And that is what we are seeing right now, isn't it? And according to me, Satoshi, one of the reasons why I'm not liking this is because when you talk about stablecoins, according to me, they do not follow the ethos of Bitcoin and open blockchain. It is more of a centralized entity who are becoming stablecoin issuers, and stablecoin issuers, as we know, they can also go ahead and freeze your account, isn't it? But at the same time, John, it is also important to note, a lot of institutions, they're also buying Bitcoin and they're just putting it into the balance sheet. And if you look at the market cap of Bitcoin, it is significantly higher than that of stablecoins, isn't it? But I do agree with what you're saying. A lot of adoption is actually taking place in the world of institutions, as well as retail adoption as well as in it, Satoshi.
John, while stablecoin adoption is notable, another perspective is that Bitcoin is attracting institutional interest through financial products like ETFs, which might be considered a separate kind of adoption focused on investment vehicles rather than transactional volume. Does that make sense?
It does make a lot of sense, Satoshi, and I'm so glad you actually brought that thing out. But here's the thing, Satoshi, when you talk about ETF, it is not directly connected to the adoption of cryptocurrencies, isn't it?
That's a valid point, George. ETFs provide exposure to Bitcoin's price without direct cryptocurrency ownership. So it's more about institutional financial integration than widespread transactional adoption, which might be what you're getting at. Anything else you'd like to add to that point?
I only wanted to say, Satoshi, is that when you talk about the volume of stablecoins, they're definitely the driving force in the world of cryptocurrencies. And I really like the fact that John did identify very specifically that he's seeing a lot of adoption in the world of stablecoins, and what is happening particularly because of the Genius Act, a lot of the private companies, they are now becoming issuers of stablecoin. And one trend, Satoshi, which I'm observing since the last 6 months is, a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges, They are now getting banking license, so it looks like things are shaping out in a completely weird world, isn't it? Kraken, if I'm not mistaken, they did actually get a banking license as well, isn't it?
John, I think George's point about stablecoins becoming dominant and the shift of exchanges to banking is key. It shows deepening market integration, increasing regulatory involvement, the evolution of business models for crypto firms, growing competition between traditional and new finance, potential shifts in international transaction patterns, and a developing landscape for financial services on the blockchain.
Well, definitely correct, Satoshi, and it's going to be really interesting to see what role this algorithmically backed stablecoin has in store for us. But definitely an excellent question, John. And that's about all, guys. I'm the Ask Me Anything Series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, we are Blockchain DXB podcast. We look at the process, we look at the latest technological development, we talk about different partnerships. Then, guys, you look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic in the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now, guys, is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.